4 days, 15 islands, hundreds of players, and relics said to possess magical powers. Every island on the map was controlled by a different content creator, all fighting to claim a relic. This was the Unanchored Event, hosted by Jack Shephard. I joined the Navy led by Siebel and Hedge. Set in the 1700s, the event limited everyone to primitive weapons, pipe shotguns, and scarce explosives. For the next 4 days, I would secretly advise the Navy's leaders as we fought to protect a relic rumored to possess magical powers. But before any battles could begin, we needed a base. We only had one location in mind, a massive dock beneath a towering castle. If we secured it, we could control the seas. There was just one problem. Out of all the 15 islands, we needed to spawn in exactly one. But this is Rust, and the ocean is free, so I swam. With the dock finally being secured, the Navy got to work. Our builders began clearing the area while the rest of us split into teams. On paper, we only needed two things: resources to build, and low grade to fuel our growing fleet. Simple. At least it should have been. Then, everything changed. A lock crate had just spawned at water treatment. In an event where pipe shotguns were considered top-tier weapons, this was one of the few opportunities to gain a real advantage. The admirals wanted that crate. So we dropped what we were doing and moved in. As we approached water treatment, it quickly became clear we weren't alone. But instead of finding enemies, we found the news team. As allies of the Navy, they had no interest in fighting. After a brief conversation, we returned to our original mission. While most of the Navy was focused on gathering resources, one of our recruits quietly established something far more important: the Navy's first embassy. Built in the northern region of the map, this small outpost would become one of our primary sources of stone. At the time, it didn't seem like much, but it would become one of the most important structures we owned. I loaded a boat and made the journey north. What I found there would change the pace of the Navy's expansion. 4 blueprint fragments. For larger factions, that might not sound impressive. For us, it meant progress. Better equipment, better weapons, a stronger front line. The Navy was growing. With supplies flowing in, I set out to establish a second embassy on another island. If we wanted to survive 4 days of war, we needed more than one foothold. We needed a network. But just as construction began, an urgent message came through the comms. The northern embassy was under attack. Several of us immediately spawned in and prepared for the worst. Fortunately, the attackers weren't expecting resistance. After a brief fight, the embassy survived. For now. Then a message appeared that stopped the entire server. Every faction was being summoned to the center of the map, a world meeting. Kings, bankers, mercenaries, content creators. For the first time, every major power would gather in one place. This was our opportunity to show the world who the Navy was. Not everyone was impressed. Rainbirds had already taken issue with the Navy's resource gathering efforts, and tensions were beginning to rise.
Going on our land, Seabolin.
You are part of our first stronghold. We need resources. The jungle only has wood. We must take what we can get. And you will not throw a fit.
Seabolin, it seems like all you want to do is steal. To me, that doesn't sound fair, but I'll let you get on with your speech.
While the meeting continued, I left to start the third embassy. The timing couldn't have been worse. Shortly after the gathering ended, the new embassy was destroyed. Back at headquarters, an unexpected visitor arrived.
I need you as much as you guys need me, right? Look at me, I'm naked. I got nothing on my name, okay? We gotta make something of ourselves, and right now I can't do that without you, and you can't do that without me. We need each other.
Yeah.
People are slandering us at world meetings, so we need to get some respect on the name, okay? Strategic partnerships. Number 1, your closest strategic partner. Let me have a look at the map here. Max Mears. He's a big dog. He needs to be on the US Navy side, right? You can't have him against you. That's step number 1. You got to get the right friends in the right places. You know what I mean?
Jack Shephard and his news crew wanted to investigate the growing Navy.
We've been setting up, and soon enough we will make sure that everyone is following the right path to happiness, to prosperity, and to goodness, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, it sounds great. I think that's a great story to tell the people. Why don't we start this over again, since we have a true believer here in the US Navy? If you had a message for the world, what is going on? What are you guys about? What is happening with the United States Navy?
Well, I think Keza said it best. A new leaf is turned. Alliances are being formed. Resources are being stacked.
As cameras rolled and questions were asked, our attention drifted away from the battlefield. And we paid for it. Our first embassy fell. The Navy wanted revenge. We loaded our boats and set sail. The goal wasn't loot, it was retribution. The raid itself was underwhelming. We found little resistance, and even less loot. And eventually we began running low on explosives. Then our luck changed. The defenders had forgotten one critical detail. Their garage door wasn't code locked. Moments later, we were inside. The tool cupboard was ours. The embassy had been avenged, or so we thought. Before we could celebrate, another request came in. The bank needed help. A smaller faction had been repeatedly attacking their operations at Stone Quarry, and they wanted the Navy's support. We answered the call. By the time we arrived, the battle was already underway. Fighting erupted across the quarry as the Navy attempted to break the defenders. Unfortunately, things weren't going to plan. Word spread quickly. Soon enough, the news team arrived to document the chaos. With cameras rolling and the raid falling apart, the Navy made a tactical decision. We left almost as quickly as we had arrived. Day 1 had come to an end. The dock was ours. The Navy had established embassies across the map, we had made allies, made enemies, and for the first time, the rest of the server knew our name. The war for the relic had just begun. By the start of Day 2, the Navy was no longer fighting for survival. We were expanding. The 4th embassy was finally complete, giving us another foothold on the map and strengthening our growing network of outposts. I returned home just as preparations were underway for the Second World Meeting. The factions of the server had begun to establish themselves. Alliances were forming, rivalries were emerging. Unlike the first gathering, this meeting felt different. Jack had an announcement that would change the fate for the server.
So we've heard of some terrible instances today. There's been some great wars, some many issues. And the first person I'd like to bring up to discuss some of these would be Monstera. Monstera, why don't you come forward here?
Hello friends, thank you Jack so much. Somebody has broken into our sacred ground and stole our biggest painting. A painting that pictures history of all of you, of all of the nations. They left letters and a mockery replacement for a painting. So I'm asking you all for help. Bankers, check for any strange deposits that have been made today. Traders, check the black markets or sales or any secret offers. Mercenaries, please listen to any rumors. We need to find the painting. Bring the peace to all of your land. Thank you.
Everyone wanted to know where the Navy stood.
I'm here.
You're the spokesperson? All right, beautiful.
Yeah,
Alloy.
I'm the pretty face, yeah. And can I just say, wow, what a great world we have. You guys are so complimentary to the US Navy, and we appreciate all your love and respect. We are out here doing the Lord's work, you know, keeping the peace. Peace is profit. We do have to issue a couple of disciplinary notices, that's all. There has been a little bit too much fighting going on, and the Navy is going to have to step in. So just any kind of pirates, illegal activities, any violence. Yeah, so we've been laying embassies everywhere.
What happens if we refuse your embassy on our island?
Well, you know what? It's enforced peace. So just keep that in mind. Peace is profit. And so if we do have to enforce the peace, we will. And actually, it's a good point because I do have something to let everyone know. It's a proud announcement today. Peace fostering efforts are now underway. So yesterday, we spread peaceful negotiations to Moonblaze, who I think is from the Free Fleet Accord on H2 Island. Thank you so much, guys, for your cooperation. I'm happy to report that H2 Island is it's full of peace over there. So successful first peaceful negotiation, and we've established many embassies across many islands, and I'm happy to report today we'll be spreading peace to the rest of the free world. So I have here the Dreamroot Dominion. Are you here? D16, I believe it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, since you asked, I'm happy to report peace will be spreading to your island today. So we'll be coming to visit and ensure that peace is spread appropriately.
Your tree will be jumped.
He's invading everyone.
As kind of we rotate around here. So if anyone has any questions, you can direct your attention straight to Navy headquarters. Feel free to drop by. And we do have some big cats out the front, so if you can get past them, we're happy to have a chat.
US Navy, I've got a question. Did you say that all forms of piracy is illegal?
Yeah, pirates will be killed, and I mean, they'll have their peace spread. We'll spread peace for the pirates.
As the meeting concluded, the Navy was becoming a force that could no longer be ignored. Max would launch a coordinated attack on us to ensure we had a strong defense. Nearby, the news would document the encounter.
Military exercise. This was a mutual agreement here.
The news team would quickly turn their attention as they had just gotten a new report. Chaos had erupted across the waters. Max Mears and his allies had launched an attack against the bank. The bank immediately demanded justice. The Navy now faced a difficult decision. A world event was about to begin, and the first relic was about to appear. And yet, one of the largest crimes on the server had just been committed. The relic offered protection. The bank demanded action. We couldn't do both. Or at least that's what we thought. While the main fleet mobilized to deal with Max, Fine and Senorita Hamster were quickly sent out on a mission of their own. Their objective was simple: secure the relic before another faction could claim it. Meanwhile, the Navy launched its own operation. Before long, Max was in custody, escorted back to the dock and placed inside the Navy prison. The operation had just begun. The relic had been secured, but our soldier was in the middle of the water, surrounded by enemies. Suddenly, everything changed. The relic became our highest priority. We would secure the prisoner and get on the boats. Securing the relic, we would rush back home. The first relic of the event now belonged to the Navy. The prisoner was secured, the treasure was secured, and for the first time, the Navy possessed one of the most valuable objects on the entire map. With both objectives complete, attention returned to the prisoner. What followed wasn't what anyone expected. Accusations were made, stories were shared, and with every new testimony, a different picture began to emerge. Something far more interesting: a painting. During questioning, Max revealed that he had seen one, hidden, buried inside a secret room deep within the bank itself. The revelation stunned the Navy leadership. Hours earlier, Max had been our prisoner. Now he might be our best lead. If what he was saying was true, then the missing artwork could be connected to something much larger. A decision was made. The Navy would work with Max, not because we trusted him, but because we needed answers. I would go check on the 4th Embassy and find it was gone, replaced with OTP property. Realizing we had never properly investigated the original crime, a small group prepared to travel to the art gallery. And seeing where this mystery was headed, I decided to go with them.
Oh no, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, here it is.
Is that placeable? Can you place that?
Yes, this is beautiful. The volcano.
Thank you so much.
While investigating, D. Marvin Keza dropped off a photo for compensation.
Wow, I feel so honored.
I haven't
Thank
seen
you
this
so
myself.
much.
So,
Wow.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Wow.
That's my friend's. That's my friend's horse. He's a racehorse.
We're gonna need that Monstera original.
I love that. I love that one.
Like represents the U.S. Navy.
So yeah,
I'm thinking
figure
like
out the
what I'm
Monstera.
thinking is like imagine a deep blue ocean, the crashing waves, and an orca, a killer whale comes striding out of the wave, and it's got a cap on it. It's got a U.S. Navy cap. And it's like the sun shining down on it, it's glistening in the light. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Bro.
They're harmless painters. We just bullied the hell out of them.
After investigating and finding nothing, we would do a photo shoot to end the night.
Bonkers behind you. Bonkers literally.
Bonk's right here. What's up, brother?
I'm just passing by.
Can we get a picture? Oh, perfect. Let's go. Let's get in here.
I kind of don't want to like bully those painters anymore. I've had such a blissful experience at this.
I know this is fire. Oh, dude, that one's good too. Up top. Oh, dude, these are good. These are really good.
By the start of day 3, the war for the relic had taken a back seat. The entire server was talking about one thing: the missing painting. What had started out as a prisoner's testimony was quickly becoming the biggest mystery on the map, and at the center of it all was Max. The day began with another world meeting. Jack Shephard and Monstera addressed the growing rumors surrounding the missing artwork.
It's for us today here. So Monstera, why don't you come up over here and let us know what you found out.
Thank you, Jack. Hello, everyone. As all of you know, yesterday, a giant painting has been stolen from our island.
For days, factions had searched for clues. Nobody knew where the painting had gone, but according to Max, he did. Under Navy escort, the prisoner was brought before the gathering. Only a day earlier, he had been locked inside a cell. Now, every faction on the server was listening to his story.
Max,
I have some terrible news. The bank is still out there. The bank is still pulling the strings. It wouldn't surprise me if the bank had the painting.
Max claimed he had seen the missing painting, not in the gallery, not in a private collection, but hidden deep inside the bank itself, evidence that nobody else had discovered. The claim sent shockwaves to the meeting. Some believed him immediately, others thought he was lying. But regardless of what everyone believed, there was only one way to find out. We had to investigate. When the meeting concluded, the Navy made its decision. We would raid the bank, not for resources, not for profit, for answers. If the painting was truly hidden inside, we intended to be the ones who found it. Preparations began immediately. Weapons were distributed, supplies were loaded, ships gathered at the dock. As our ships crossed the water, conversations filled the comms. What if the painting was really there? What if Max had discovered something nobody else had? What if this mystery was connected to the relics? The Navy would start at sunrise. Covered by the night, the Navy would build structures for protection. As the fight went on, our Admiral Siebel was able to find a weak point. We would gather and deploy as one to attack the spot and break through. Once inside, we would begin our search. For hours, we searched. Room after room, floor after floor, every lead, every hallway, every corner of the bank. The deeper we looked, the more convinced we became that we were getting close. The operation had become a treasure hunt, and nobody wanted to leave empty-handed. As the day wore on, frustration began replacing optimism. The hidden room never appeared. The painting never surfaced. Because by that point, we had invested too much to turn back. Eventually, there was no more places left to search. No hidden passage, no secret vault, no stolen masterpiece. Nothing. The realization slowly sank in. Max hadn't led us to a discovery, he led us on a wild goose chase. The prisoner we had trusted, the man whose testimony had convinced the entire server, had lied. Hours of planning, hours of searching, an entire Navy operation, all based on a story that wasn't true. As the fleet began the long journey home, one question remained. If the painting wasn't in the bank, then where was it? The Navy would visit OG and their new treasure. They had raided the Russians for the newly resurfaced relic, and won. Our island gained another relic. Would we become the next target, or would Rook? While others were distracted, Rook was able to source another relic. Not by fighting, but by searching. Once the lost pieces were put together, a magical artifact was reborn. With 3 relics surfaced, Day 3 ended with fewer answers than when it began. But one thing had become clear, the mystery was far from over. By the start of Day 4, the Navy had survived everything. We had built embassies across the map, forged alliances, made enemies, captured relics, and uncovered mysteries. Now only one question remained. Who would win? The day began with an unexpected sight. Just days earlier, Rainbirds had been one of the Navy's harshest critics. Now we were building another embassy on his island. With the new embassy established, attention turned toward the final world meeting. The news team held an emergency meeting with the upcoming end of the world event approaching.
And I'll have to say, people, I am unbelievably surprised, and I feel very stupid and naive that we didn't believe in these islanders. They told us from the very beginning that these relics were real. And now today, from what it looks like, and who knows, seems the world is ending and things are collapsing.
The atmosphere was different. The joking had faded. Negotiations were over. Everyone knew what was coming. War. The Navy didn't hold back in letting everyone know their objective.
And with that being the case, the painting should be returned here if we all want to live today. So hopefully we can work towards that. For the pirates, are you guys here?
Why should the painting be returned here? Why are we protecting the gallery? Who cares?
Okay, actually, come step up here, because United States Navy, protectors of peace, controlling the world. No, here, come on the stage. Come on the stage. Come up here. Don't be shy.
Thank you. We are the.
You're good.
Thank you.
You guys control 2 relics, and I mean, who are you guys really protected and stuff at this point? What's going on?
The U.S. Navy and all U.S. Navy subsidiaries. It's pretty simple. Just fall in line, become a U.S. Navy subsidiary, and we'll take care of you. And I guess we could, I don't know, we could get the painting as well. I guess we're kind of chilling over there. We got nothing to worry about. So everyone's talking about how the pirates are strong and they all work together and all of this, and they're all sitting out there with zero relics. Man, this is pathetic. Now they're talking about getting their painting back. You know what? Maybe the Navy wants to get this painting for themselves, have an extra relic. Have 2 up in our base, because we might as well at this point. Like, nobody else is capable of doing anything.
As the meeting concluded, factions scattered across the map to prepare their defenses. Weapons were crafted, ships were loaded, plans were finalized. A call for help came over the radio. OG was under attack. Without hesitation, the Navy mobilized. We sailed out to support one of our allies as enemy forces descended on their base. The fighting was fierce. Explosions echoed across the island. Gunfire filled the air. For a moment, it looked like the defenses might hold, but it wasn't enough. OG's base fell, and with it, their artifact. If an ally could lose everything so quickly, nobody was safe, not even the Navy. They came sooner than expected. 2 major powers turned their attention towards the Navy, Rainbirds and the Bank. Together they launched an assault against the Navy. Everything we had spent building was suddenly at risk. Our dock, our fleet, our relic, our home. Ships pounded us from the harbor. Players rushed to reinforce the weakest positions. For a moment, it felt like the Navy might break, but we held. When the smoke finally cleared, the Navy was still standing. The attackers had failed. Our home had survived. Monstera recovered the final relic, but not before the volcano would erupt. Old rivalries resurfaced. Alliances were tested. As chaos unfolded around the volcano, the Navy watched safe with an artifact. Factions from across the server fell to the lava. Hours of preparation, days of diplomacy, countless battles. Everything led here. And when the dust finally settled, the impossible happened. The Navy had won. After 4 days of war, politics, betrayals, investigations, and battles, the Navy stood victorious. For one final time, the Navy would gather. The meeting hall that had hosted so many negotiations and debates now served a different purpose. Reflection. Victories were celebrated, and for a brief moment the war was over. The Navy, Oculus Virtus, Undertow mercenaries, and the Russian Empire had their relic and survived. 4 days, 15 islands, hundreds of players, and one unforgettable adventure. And while the relics, bases, and alliances would eventually disappear, the memories wouldn't. The Unanchored event had come to an end. Thank you, Jack Shephard and team, for a great event. Thank you, Siebel and Hedge, for being great leaders. Thank you, Keza, for the encouragement throughout and after the event. And the biggest thank you to everyone else who was in the event and took the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to follow and like the video. Have a great wipe, and I'll see you in the next one.